إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلاة دائمة مقبولة تعدي بها أن حقه العظيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين غوث أعظم بمن بسر ساما مدد قبلة يدي مدد كعبة إمام مدد قادری نارائے یا غوث آدم بزنم دم شیخ احمد رضا خان قطب عالم بزنم سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ زندہ باد مسلک سرکار اعلیٰ حضرت زندہ باد یا الہی مسلک احمد رضا خان زندہ باد حفظ نام سے رسالت کا جو ذمہ دار ہے سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ زندہ باد حامل فیض رضا مصطفیٰ امداد کن صلی اللہ علیہ النبی الأمی وآلہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم صلاة و سلام علیک یا سیدی یا سندی یا حبیبی یا طبیبی یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ تعالی علیہ وسلم وعلى آلک واصحابک یا رحمة للعالمین. All praise is due to Almighty Allah. Durood and salams upon the most perfect, exalted and glorified of Allah's creation, Sayyiduna Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Peace, blessings and salutations upon the Anbiya Ikram, Ahl Bayt Athar, Sahaba Ikram, Khulafa Rashidin, Tabi'in, Tabi' Tabi'in, Aimma Mujtahideen, Awliya Kamilin, and all those who follow the path until the last day. We thank Almighty Allah through His infinite mercy and through the wasila of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for blessing us with the opportunity to congregate in Salat al-Jum'ah and His prostrate in His most exalted court. Before continuing, let us all direct our hearts and our thoughts and our minds towards the holy and the sanctified court of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in doing so, let us collectively recite the Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyina Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammadin salatan daimatan maqbulatan tu'addi biha anna haqqahu al-azim. Today is Jummah, but at the same time it is the Jum'atul Wada. For the month of Ramadan, it is the Al-Wada Jummah, the last Friday for the month of Ramadan. And each of us will remember that it just seemed like we said that it is the first Friday of Ramadan. Think about how swiftly the holy month of Ramadan has passed us, and only very few days are now remaining in this Mubarak month. Today, as we look at the month of Ramadan that came to us, and we try to reconcile and we try to reflect upon the holy month of Ramadan al-Mubarak up until now, we will notice that every time that the month comes now, it passes faster than the year before. And this is from amongst the alamat of Qiyamat. This is from amongst the signs of last day, that the time will pass by very swiftly. But something that we should pay attention to very importantly, when we think about time passing us by swiftly, like we look at Ramadan, and we see that Ramadan has passed us by so quickly. Okay? It has passed us by so quickly. How many days today? How many Roza today? 25. 25 Roza. Tomorrow 26. Tomorrow after Maghrib, Laylatul Qadr, the 27th Eve. Okay? So how many more days we have left? We are round the corner from the end of the month of the Ramadan, and this Mubarak month is passing us by with great speed. And as I said, it's time to reflect and reconcile. And it reminds us something very important when you reconcile and you reflect, that Ramadan is passing with this speed. Is it not telling us that your life is passing with the same speed? Is it not telling us this? Do you remember when you were younger? I remember when I was a kid. And I think our elders will remember even better. It felt like one Jummah to the next Jummah took very long to come. It seemed like from one Jummah to the next Jummah, people waited, it's a long time more before Friday comes. From Ramadan to Ramadan seemed distant. Today leave the Jummah to a Jummah. The Ramadan to a Ramadan seems to have become so close. It's still the same 12 months. But the time is passing by faster. And thus the question that each person should ask himself or herself is that when this month is passing us by so quickly, as I just said, is it not a warning for us? Is it not a reminder for us that your life is passing so quickly? Just now you know you were 20 years old. Before you know it, you are 50 years old. Say, just now I saw my kids were crawling. Before I know it, they're already professionals and doing this and doing that. What has changed? Why is this happening? Because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam foretold this. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a day will be, a week will be, a year will be like a month. 1 year will be like a month will be like a week will be like a day. And a day will be like you threw something into fire and it combusted and got finished. How much can you do in your day to day? Go back not far, go back 10 years. How much could you do in 10 years ago in your one day, and how much can you do now? Yet we have so many facilities. Yet we have so many things to make life much easier than it was 20 and 30 years ago. But still we cannot do as much as we used to do then. I want to ask each of you and ask myself the question, how much Quran we read in Ramadan? How much Quran did you read in Ramadan? Except the Taraweeh that you had Quran. How much of Quran did we read? It's a question to ask ourselves. And the person is going to tell you, I could not find sufficient time. But even in the month of Ramadan, you know, if you only had to do one thing in Ramadan, for the sake of recitation of the Quran and for your amal-e-salihah, one thing only, that every day you have lunch. In Ramadan there's no lunch. That time that you dedicated to your lunch, if you dedicated to your ibadat, kitna fayda hota? How much of benefit you would have got? That 1 hour, roughly 45 minutes, 1 hour. But in that time what you'll do? You'll still go and chase the dunya. We still chase the dunya in that time. We won't think that that time that we used to do this, we will use this for Allah's ibadat. No, we will use it for the dunya. Very few people use it for ibadat. And for goodness, what does it mean? It means that the world has sunken us and absorbed us into this huge trap. The world has pulled us in, and we have forgotten that there is a thing, even though we know it, but we are no more conscious that there is more. There is no more conscious that the world and my life is passing me too fast. And I said this before to you, I remember on the 2nd of Shawwal is when Huzur Sayyidi Muhaddis Kabir was born. Madadunahun Nurani. And I remember I called him one day, it was the 2nd of Shawwal. This year he will turn 93. You were lucky you had him this year with you. But I remember one year I called him and I said to him, Huzur, today is your birthday. May Allah give you long life and we're remembering this day. He said, yes, I also remember this day. I remember that it's 1 year now closer to my qabr. I now remember that I'm 1 year closer to my grave. Look at what they think. I'm 1 year closer to my grave. When our birthday come, what do you think? Make daman. But instead of reading 2 rakats and making shukr in the court of Allah, they know, Allah, you kept me alive with iman. So the time is passing us very fast. And likewise, this month of Ramadan is almost gone. The question that we need to ask here is, have we fulfilled our duties and our responsibilities as we should? क्या हम लोगों ने अपनी जिम्मेदारियां पूरी की? Did we finish our zimmedari? Whatever our duties are, whatever is our responsibility in this month. And I said to you last week, it's not just about waking up at Sahri and making iftar and saying, I made Ramadan, I fasted. It's not only about staying away from food. How many people are openly making guna in the month of Ramadan? You see people who are Muslims openly eating in the month of Ramadan. Openly eating. Why? What is the reason for this? It's because people, sadly, illa mashallah, except for those whom Allah has protected, the people and the community have become spiritually bankrupt. We have become spiritually bankrupt. Man fears about getting financially bankrupt. He fears about becoming insolvent financially. But what about spiritually? What about spiritually? When you wake up for Sahri, do you just wake up half asleep and just want to eat and go and sleep back? Or you're waking up thinking that I'm waking up to fulfill this great sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm doing this, that I'm going to make niyat, that I'm fasting, I'm going to be in ibadat the entire day, in the remembrance of my Rabb Almighty Allah. Is this what we do? Or do we just make this a formality? This is the question that we need to ask. And I'm asking myself this question today. And then I ask it to you, because there are only few days left. There are only few days left. Make the best of it. When we say make the best of it, it doesn't mean get up and you can't manage, so you sleep the whole day, sleep from Zari and wake up at iftar. Na namaz, na ibadat, na kuch. This is not how it should be. This is not fasting. There is fasting of different levels. I explained this in the very beginning. The fasting of the layman, the fasting of the elite, the fasting of the spiritually elite. The spiritual elite, the awliya, the pious servants of Allah, their eyes are fasting, their hands are fasting, their legs are fasting. We are only staying without food. Think about it. It's time to reflect. And that's why I'm saying, this is the last Jummah, it's time to reflect, it's time to reconcile. How many of us remember that we have to give our fitrah? This is the best time to do your work of charity. 70 to 700 times to 70,000 times sawab if Allah wills. And the count is only for you to understand and for me to understand. Allah has no shortage in His treasures. Allah gives as He wills. But even in this time, there are many people who find it difficult to spend for the pleasure of Allah. They find it difficult to put a morsel of food in somebody's mouth. When this happens, they say being miserly is one thing. But being miserly when it comes to that which Allah gave you for the sake of Allah, then you need to now test your iman. It is a very critical and dangerous situation. People ask clearly, I gave zakat last year, do I have to give it this year? I gave fitrah last year, do I have to give this year? What a question. You know, it's not something that we should be asking. Okay? This fitrah is such an important thing. We don't even remember. Some people don't even remember it in the last day. Some remember after Eid. You can, the best time to give it is in the morning of the day of Eid. But you can give it before that and you can give it after that if you forgot, but not intentionally carrying on doing this. Do you know just this fitrah? Just this fitrah. And I mentioned last week and the week before, people say, how come fitrah became so expensive? 35 rand. With nafai faqir. 35 rand. Expensive? How much you go to eat out? How much do we eat out? When it's not Ramadan, how much do you pay for a burger? I'm giving you the common thing that you eat. How much the kids pay for a pizza? But it's too expensive to take out fitrah. Do you know the benefit of that fitrah? There is a hadith that is reported by Abu Dawud and Nasai that the end of Ramadan came and Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma said, pay sadaqah for your fasts. Pay sadaqah for your fast. What is the sadaqah for your fast? Your fitrah. Pay sadaqah for your fasts, for this sadaqah has been stipulated by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This fitrah has been stipulated by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is 1 sa of dates or 1 sa of barley or half sa of wheat. You can't do that. Wood nafai fakir 1 kg 919.1 grams. We bring it to the nearest of 2.5 because that's what we pay for wheat flour today. So even that a person finds it difficult. Think about it. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stipulated the benefit of this. There is a hadith in Tirmizi Sharif. Since we're talking about fitrah quickly, and I'm going to end with the discussion on fitrah today. It is in Tirmizi Sharif from HAZRAT Amr ibn Shu'aib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who reported from his father, who in turn reported from his grandfather. Okay? He reported the hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent a person into the neighborhoods, into the neighborhood of the holy city of Makkah and said, make an announcement, sadaqah fitr is wajib. The fitrah that you give, which you call fitrah, sadaqatul fitr, This is wajib, this is compulsory upon us. There's a hadith of Abu Dawud and Ibn Majah and Hakim have reported from Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam stipulated the sadaqatul fitr, the fitrah, so that the fast may be, so that your roza, your fast may be purified from shamelessness and vulgar utterances. And so that the needy may be fed. Okay? So why it was there? Why this fitrah is there? Why it has been stipulated, made compulsory? So it purifies your fast. You don't know why you were fasting, you said something vulgar. You said something obscene. You said something that you shouldn't have said. Now one is saying something that you shouldn't have said and being vulgar. But some people have become so used to being vulgar, it's become part of their dictionary, that they can't even speak without this. This is destructive for you in the dunya, and it is destructive for you in your qabr also. And it is destructive for you in the akhirat also. And inshallah, when time permits one Jummah, we will discuss this thing about speaking in a vulgar manner. You know, even the younger generation today, they think that this is some way to show your status. You know, how Hafiz Sharif said, to be cool. Not cool, yeah, you will be cool, in your qabr you will be very hot. In the azab. Think about the hereafter, don't think about the dunya. Okay? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave us this fitrah, beautiful thing, to purify your fast. And so that you can feed the needy. There is another narration. I'm giving you a few narrations today. There's another narration. Dailmi, Khatib and Ibn Asakir. They reported from HAZRAT Sayyidina Anas radiallahu ta'ala that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the fast of a servant remains suspended between the skies and the earth. The fast, the roza of a banda remains suspended between the skies and the earth until he does not discharge his sadaqatul fitr. So no barakat of it, no acceptance of it. The means of the acceptance of the fast is the sadaqatul fitr. So how important the sadaqatul fitr? So please make the attempt to start getting ready. If you've not started taking it out yet, take it out. And you must remember that when it comes to the sadaqah fitr, although you have your entire life to discharge it, but the morning of the Eid is afzal. But any time in Ramadan you can discharge it, it's more sawab. The very important thing you must understand about sadaqatul fitr is that you are yourself responsible for it. As an adult, say an adult, you are responsible for your own fitrah. Your wife is responsible for her own fitrah unless she authorizes you to pay it. Take her permission when you want to pay it. And if she's paying for you, you must authorize her to pay it. And you are responsible for the fitrah of your nabaligh children. Even if your child is 1 day old and just born, you have to give fitrah for that child. Okay? And the children that are baligh, they are responsible for their own fitrah. I'm telling you one simple methodology, one simple method for you, one recipe. When your children become baligh, since we're talking about the fitrah, that the baligh is responsible for his own fitrah. When your children become baligh and they have their own savings and they have their own money, they are responsible for their own zakat. They are responsible for their own fitrah, not you. Unless they authorize you to do it or you do it on their behalf with their authorization. Otherwise, they are responsible, and make them take it out of their own money. And this is a lesson we need to teach. Your children have money, Qurbani time comes, you doing all the Qurbanis, let them do it from their own money. Let them learn, so when you die and gone from the dunya, they'll take out sadaqah, they'll take out zakat, they'll do their Qurbani. Why? Because they know this is my responsibility. You can get everybody's money together and do whatever you need to do with it as they command and dispense. But make it their habit that if they baligh, let them do it from their own money. And because it is their responsibility, they are mukallaf. Okay, it is their responsibility, they have to do their own. Not you taking the responsibility of everything and they don't even know what is this. Teach them how to work out their zakat. Teach them how they should give sadaqah. Teach them that every month from what they earn, take out something and give in the way of Allah. Don't your father and your forefather and your grandfathers taught us, they had one small box or one tin in the house. Every month they used to take out something and put their sadaqah. Every month they used to take out something in Jose Park's name and give the people. Why did they do this? Because of barakat. But if we're not going to do this with our children, we do everything and don't teach them how they're going to do it. So it's very important to do this. And I'm ending today's discussion with something very important. That somebody asked a question, and a lot of time this question comes up. It's got nothing to do with fitrah directly, but with sadaqah as well. Fitra, sadaqah, zakat. Some people have always been asking, and I thought, let me just respond to this. People ask that if we gave somebody sadaqah, or we gave them zakat, or we gave them fitra, and they are a relative, etc., and you visit their home or a friend, and they gave you something to eat and drink, because they did that with the money that you gave them. They bought that. Can you partake in that? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. They say, people say it's haram to eat because they take sadaqah or they take zakat. There's no such thing. The moment you give them, it has been discharged. It has been discharged. After that, it's no more sadaqah or zakat. It has been discharged, and the evidence for this is a hadith which is in Bukhari, in Muslim, in Mishkat, etc. There is a hadith that once the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to his Mubarak home, and when he went to his Mubarak home, there was food that is being prepared. There was something that was being cooked on the fire, something being boiled. But at that time, there was nothing else in the home of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told that the only thing that we have is this meat. But Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is belonging to Barira. She was the female servant, the slave that was in that time permissible of HAZRAT Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala. She was the female servant in the home. So somebody had given her this meat, Barira, this meat. So Ya Rasulullah, this is sadaqah that came for Barira. Ya Rasulullah, so you do not eat sadaqah, so how are we going to give you this? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, alayha sadaqah. For her it is sadaqah, but for us it is hadiyah, because it's discharged already. So this is proven from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Don't look down on somebody because that is their condition. Islam does not teach us this. Okay, so keep this in mind. I just discussed this because it's something that's come up a whole lot in the last week or two. So may Allah give us the tawfiq to value the days that are left. May we take the barakat of this holy month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq that those of us that have not even picked up our Quran as yet, to pick up the Quran and start reciting at least for the next few days as much as you can recite. And don't say that I don't know how to read Quran. If you don't know, you're supposed to have learned. I'm being very critical about this positively. And if you haven't been able to learn, pick up the Quran and look at the harful love. Pick up the Quran and run your finger on the lines of the Quran. You will get the sawab of reciting the Holy Quran. Do it at least. At least do it. At least do it. It's very important that we do these things. Take out your sadaqah, take out your fitra, give your zakat, do all the good things. And as I said to you before, when you do amal salihah, what did the beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? The best thing that a man can do for his deceased parents is when he does for himself, he should do for them also. He should do for them also. So if your parents have left the dunya, make sure you do some isala sawab for them in the month of Ramadan Mubarak also. Give some sadaqah in their name also. Allah Ta'ala will give you barakat in your days. Allah keep us with iman. Let us leave this world with iman. Those who are ill in our community, Allah grant them shifa, kamil, sayyid, ajil. Those who have passed away in Sunnah, Allah exalt them in Jannat name. Our Yunus Bhai has been having problem with his eye. I believe he's gone for an operation. May Allah make it successful and Allah Ta'ala keep his vision salamat. Afzal Bhai also Inayatullah is not well. Allah Ta'ala give him shifa as well. All others that are unwell, Allah grant them shifa, kamil, sayyid, ajil. Those that are going through any calamity and difficulty, Allah remove them from the calamity and difficulty. And as we say every week, and make it your habit to do it every day, do not forget the Muslims of Palestine. Do not forget the Muslims of Palestine. When you sit to make iftar and all those delicacies on your table, think of those who do not even have this. Think of those that are being bombarded while they are reading salah, while they are keeping fasting. Think of that and make shukr for whatever Allah Ta'ala has given us. Make shukr and learn sabr from them. Learn how to make sabr from them and learn a lesson. Somebody asked me this week, kuffar ke saath aur Yahudiyon ke saath to make friends with them. How is it? I said, after that you still want to make dosti. How is it to make friends? You still want to make friends after all this? When the Quran says they are not your friends. Yeah? Understand, there's a difference between association and friendship. There's a vast difference. Okay, you have associates because of your business or whatever, keep it as that. But dosti is only with the believers, and that too Sunni Sahihul Haqiqah. Not with bad madhabs and anybody else. Allah give us the tawfiq to understand. Allah give barakat in all our rizqs. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those of our parents who are alive, Allah give them long life. Those who have passed away, Allah exalt them in Jannah. Those that are going through difficulty, Allah remove them from difficulty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.